Mr. Brown the Clown by Grade 4, Vidura College. Hello, dear children. How are you? I'm your dear teacher, and we are going to do something a little bit different. Today, we are going to look at a poem which is related to my dress code. Okay, children, tell me, am I a bit funny looking with this red nose and the hat? Whom do I look like today? Yes, I look like a circus clown. I know you are laughing at me. What are we going to learn today? Teacher is here to help you to learn the poem Mr. Brown the Clown in English textbook. Also, in this poem, there are a few things that I want to bring your attention to. One is rhyming words, and the other one is how to answer the comprehension questions. I'll explain that later. So, today we are going to do a lesson on a poem called Mr. Brown the Clown. And specially, I'm going to focus on pronunciation in here. This poem was written many years ago by a famous poet called Kenn Nesbit. Okay, children. Now, what we are going to do is I'm going to recite the poem first. And I want you to listen to the rhythm and the pronunciation. Then I'll get you to recite with me. Okay? Well, then talk about rhyming words. Listen first. Here we go. Mr. Brown the Clown by Kenn Nesbit. Mr. Brown the circus clown puts on his clothes upside down. He wears his hat upon his toes and socks and shoes upon his nose. He ties his ties around his thighs and wraps his belt around his eyes. He hangs his earrings from his hips and stockings from his fingertips. He puts his glasses on his feet and shirt and coat around his seat. And when he's dressed, at last he stands and walks around upon his hands. Now try it with me. Mr. Brown the Clown by Kenn Nesbit. Mr. Brown the circus clown puts on his clothes upside down. He wears his hat upon his toes and socks and shoes upon his nose. He ties his ties around his thighs and wraps his belt around his eyes. He hangs his earrings from his hips and stockings from his fingertips. He puts his glasses on his feet and shirt and coat around his seat. And when he's dressed, at last he stands and walks around upon his hands. So, that was the poem. Children, you can practice it later. Let's try to describe the way in which Mr. Brown the Clown wears the following items. First one is his hat. Yes, he wears his hat upon his toes. Second one is stockings. Exactly, he wears stockings from his fingertips. Next one is glasses. Perfect, Mr. Brown wears his glasses on his feet. The last one is his shoes. Exactly, he wears his shoes upon his nose. Now, we are just going to go through a bit of a vocabulary. Let's start out with this list of words that I chose from the poem, as ones that you might not instantly recognize, ones that we might need to look up. So, go ahead and tell me in your own words what that word means. So, what does circus mean? Circus is a traveling show performed in a large tent with performers such as clowns and trained animals. In a sentence, we noticed a poster advertising a circus. The next word is hang. What does hang mean? Fix something at top only. In a sentence, hang a bell to the cat's neck. Third word is hip. What does it mean? Your hips are the two areas at the sides of your body, between the tops of your legs and your waist. For example, the girl puts her hands on her hips. The fourth one is stockings. What does this mean? Stockings are items of women's clothing which fit closely over the feet and legs. As an example, I could say, I love my pink color stockings. The last word is brown. What does it mean? Here, Brown is a name of a person. That's the giveaway right there. If you see that capital B, you know that it's. In a sentence, Mr. Brown is working in a circus. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about rhyming and what is a rhyme. Some people think that a rhyme is just when two words sound the same, but there's a little bit more to it than that. It's when words sound the same at the end. So, if two words have the same ending sound, and that makes a rhyme. So, if you look at the words cat and hat, for example, those two words end with the same at sound, which makes them a rhyme. Do they start with the same sound? No. One starts with the letter C and the other one starts with the letter H. So, that's with a K sound and H sound. But they do both end with at. Cat, hat. That makes a rhyme. Children, if you look at fun and sun, they both end with the sound n, but they start with different sounds. So those are a rhyme. If you look at words like bake and cake, these end with the same sound, and that makes them a rhyme. Now, you'll notice something else about these words. All of the words that I've just shown you not only end with the same sound, but they end with the same letters. Children, that's not necessary in order for two words to form a rhyme. So, for example, if you look at the words sky and high, you will see that those two words end with different letters, but they end with the same sound, that I sound. Sky, high. They start with different sounds and end with the same sound. So, even though they end with different letters, they can still be a rhyme. And here are some other examples. Rain, came. And seen, been. These end with different letters, but they are a rhyme because they end with the same sound. Now, let's talk for just a minute about where the rhymes go in the poems. In order for poems to rhyme, the rhymes usually need to go at ends of each line, or maybe even at the ends of other lines. But the rhymes need to go at the ends of the lines. Like this example. My cat is nice. My cat likes mice. Here you can see two rhyming words at the ends of each line. But sometimes you can have a rhyme inside of a line, like this example. My cat is grey, my cat is fat. Now you hear that rhyme. Here, cat and fat is inside of a single line. Now you know everything that you need to know about rhyming. Children, did you notice the rhyming pairs appearing in this poem? Now we are going to find out words that rhyme. So I'm going to say a word. You tell me which word rhymes with that one. First one, clown. What rhymes with clown? That's right. Down. Clown, down. Those words rhyme. Okay, how about feet? Perfect. Seat. Feet, seat. Those words rhyme. The next one, thighs. What rhymes with thighs? That's right. Eyes. Thighs, eyes. Those two words rhyme together. Then hand. What rhymes with hand? Perfect, absolutely. Stand. Hand, stand. Those words rhyme. Finally, what rhymes with toes? That's right. Nose. Toes, nose. Those words rhyme. Those are the words that rhyme. Dear children, follow the rule number 4. Rhyming words are two or more words that have the same or similar ending sound. When you are figuring out if two words rhyme, use your ears to listen as you say the words. If they sound the same or similar, they rhyme. For example, I could say goat, boat. Now, we are going to focus on comprehension. Many times in English language, when you read something like a poem or a story, you don't understand all of the words. So, you read the other words around it and you find out what that word means. That's important for comprehension. Many children can read, but they don't truly understand what they are reading. So, I'm going to work on this to give you a hand. First step is read quickly and underline the words that you don't know. By doing this, you are getting the background of the information. But there are two other steps. Let's look at them. The second step is read it again. This time, what I want you to do is use your Oxford Mini Dictionary and summarize each stanza. As the third step, we want to read it again. This is the important part because it is now you actually going to understand. How does it help you in comprehension? We've read it 3 times. Each time gone deeper into what we've been reading. It puts you on right track to really understand what you are reading. It is now time to practice. Dear children, follow the rule number 1. I have an exercise for you. Write the answers to the following questions in your writing book. First one. Who is Mr. Brown and where does he work? Second one. How does he wear his hat? Next one. Does Mr. Brown wear spectacles? Fourth one. How does he wear his coat? The last one is, what does Mr. Brown finally do putting on his clothes? Let me know how much you scored. Let's go to the next slide. Look at the answers. First one is, who is Mr. Brown and where does he work? The correct answer is, Mr. Brown is the clown who works in the circus. Second question is, how does he wear his hat? The correct answer is, he wears his hat upon his toes. Third one is, does Mr. Brown wear spectacles? The correct answer is, yes, he wears spectacles. Next question is, how does he wear his coat? The correct answer is, Mr. Brown wears his coat around his seat. The last one is, what does Mr. Brown finally do putting on his clothes? The correct answer is, finally he walks around upon his hands after putting on his clothes. You did it. Very good. You are so clever. As a summary, what I want to highlight is today we had a lesson on a particular type of comic poem called Mr. Brown the Clown, which was written by Kenn Nesbit. And this is about a circus clown who was dressed up in a different way from the clowns we have seen before. A rhyme is a repetition of similar sounding words appearing at the end of lines in poems or songs. When we don't understand the words in a poem or in a story, we read the other words around it and we find out what that word means. That's important for comprehension. Let's repeat with me. Today, we had a lesson on a particular type of comic poem called Mr. Brown the Clown, which was written by Kenn Nesbit. And this is about a circus clown who was dressed up in a different way from the clowns we have seen before. A rhyme is a repetition of similar sounding words appearing at the end of lines in poems or songs. When we don't understand the words in a poem or in a story, we read the other words around it and we find out what that word means. That's important for comprehension. Well done. Children, now I'm going to introduce a fun activity. Let's play a game where I say a word and you say a word from the given word list that rhymes with my word. Okay? Here we go. First one, car. Yes, we could say bar. Those two words rhyme together. Honey, money. Honey, money. Those two words rhyme together. Next one, pen. Yes, men. We could say men. Those two words rhyme together. Next one, dove. Perfect. We could say glove. Dove, glove. Those two words rhyme together. Next one, house. Yes, mouse. Those two words rhyme together. Last one, robe. Exactly. We could say soap. Robe, soap. Those words rhyme together. Children, now it is time to come up with your own ideas. Please write a stanza by using the above rhyming words. Well, that is from me on this lesson on Mr. Brown the Clown. Now it is time to see how much you have learned. So, please download the relevant student note and complete the relevant exercises in your English textbook in page number 45, 46, 47, 48 and 49. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Have an awesome day. Goodbye.